Hello Elvis fans. I would like to talk a little bit about the DNA tests. I know we touched on this some in a previous video, but there seems to be some confusion with some people as to how a DNA test could have been performed without digging up Elvis's body and getting DNA samples that way. So we're going to talk about the validity, how this was done real quick. So there were two DNA tests done. So we'll start with the first one. We're going to move forward. In 1997, Bill Beanie, who is or was curator of the Elvis is Alive Museum at the time, he was the owner and curator. He had a lot of stuff in his museum, articles, pictures, all kinds of stuff. He was convinced long before the DNA tests that Elvis was alive, but he wanted to go a step further and prove it. So in 1997, he contacted Baptist Memorial Hospital in Memphis. They had done some liver biopsies on Elvis in 1973 and 1975. So he obtained these samples to turn into a doctor, and he obtained samples from the body they did the autopsy on, which was at the same hospital. He turned these in as though he were doing a paternity suit, and he wanted to see if these two DNA samples matched, as though he was testing a father and a child. He had these tests ran by LabCorp, a very reputable company. LabCorp determined that the tests between the two did not match. The 1973 liver biopsy they were unable to use because there wasn't enough tissue left, but they were able to use the 1975 biopsy that they did on Elvis and match it against tissue from the body they did the autopsy on. The tissues did not match. They determined that since this was turned in as a paternity suit, that there's no way that one of the tissues could be the father of the other one. There could be no relation. Now, a lot of people say Bill Beanie could have had this faked, that there's no way to prove the legalities and everything that go along with this. But 5 years later, Fox News decided that they wanted to get in on this and see if Bill Beanie was telling the truth or if he was just trying to sell books. So they went through the same steps. They got tissue from the 1975 liver biopsy of Elvis. Now, these were known, controlled tissue samples of Elvis that were labeled at Baptist Memorial Hospital. They did not pick up a hair from somebody's bathtub and say, here's some DNA, let's say it's Elvis's, and do this thing. This was actually known, controlled DNA from Baptist Memorial Hospital. They got DNA from the body they did the autopsy on the same way from Baptist Memorial Hospital. Now, this was not done by just an individual. This was done by Fox News. Fox had the samples tested, and they came to the same conclusions that Bill Beanie did. They did not match. Known tissue samples from Elvis did not match the body they did the autopsy on that they said was Elvis. Now this has been done twice. I see no need to do this a third time. If people don't believe DNA, there's no convincing them. Now the second DNA test that was done by Fox News is the one that we touched on in a previous video. This was actually a three-way DNA test because they were trying to find out if this person that calls himself Jesse was Elvis or not. He claims to be Elvis. The Fox News sample that were tested was done in 2002, and they tested samples of Jesse against the sample of Elvis from the hospital and against tissue from the autopsy from the hospital. Now all three were different. Jesse didn't match Elvis, and Elvis did not match the autopsy. So if we believe that Fox News did a legitimate test, and I'm quite sure that they did, then we have to believe Jesse is not Elvis. There's a person that's trying to tell me that Fox News lied, that this was faked in order to protect Elvis, because they didn't want people to know that Jesse was Elvis, and they did this in a way to protect him. And I call that bogus, because if they were trying to protect Elvis, not only would they have said Jesse's tissue doesn't match Elvis, but they would have also said that Elvis's does match the autopsy. That way people would think he was dead. But they didn't do that. They told the truth, and they said that it does not match, and it coincided perfectly with what Bill Beanie had already told us back in 1997. Below this video, I'm going to post two links. One will be to the LabCorp reports that Bill Beanie had done, and the other one will be to the Fox News report, a video that you can watch that Fox News did, and you can see that Bill Beanie's reports match what Fox News says in the video. I hope this clears up any issues you have with the DNA tests. If not, feel free to send me an email, and we'll see if we can dig a little deeper. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.